from C13 Features. A new kind of listening experience.
He's back!
Help me!
Get out of there.
It's here.
No, don't let them in.
You can experience Treat, a podcast movie starring Kiernan Shipka, for free on Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Grab some popcorn and enjoy the show.
Man, there are a lot of podcasts out there.
Definitely. I mean, there's 3 million shows, 50 million episodes, and more every day.
I mean, who has the time to figure out which ones are the best podcasts?
We do. That's who. What's up, guys? I am Alicia Renee.
And I'm Dax Holt.
And we are your host of Pod Sauce, a podcast discovery show.
Look at us as your podcast concierge.
We do all the work for you. We listen to the shows, review them,
pick the best episodes, and interview the hosts.
Pod Sauce. Let us help you find your next binge. Tell them where to go, Dax.
Go to podsauce.com.
Now, David Archer, the radio color analyst for the Atlanta Falcons. Dave, thanks so much for joining us. And Abear was just telling me, other than Mike Vick, you were the best running quarterback he saw in the NFL.
Without a doubt, he was white chocolate. David Archer could make plays with his feet coming out of Iowa State. That game he had, now we had a brutal training camp in '86. I remember Stan Brock saying when the season started, it's like we already had played the season with Coach Morrow. We were in Hammond, Louisiana at Southeastern, and we played Atlanta, and they spanked us. And Dave Archer got off. I mean, I think we put him in the Hall of Fame in one game.
Well,
Dave,
Mike,
you remember
Bobby,
that game?
Always good to talk to you guys. Yeah, no, I remember his first game. Coach Morrow was there, and Bobby, he didn't have a lot of help, I think, if I remember correctly in that game, but we were able to get a W.
Dave, boy, what a wild ride it's been for the Falcons the last year and a half. And then now looks as though, and who knows how long he's going to be out, but losing a guy like Calvin Ridley, who's admitted that he's got some issues and some mental health issues that he's dealing with at this time, that's got to be a major blow to this offense, because really is a big-time player as far as the pitch-and-catch part of the game.
All of a sudden you lose Julio, and then you're counting on Ridley to be the man.
So now all of a sudden Pitts becomes the guy.
Yeah, he's had to step up, guys, and he stepped up pretty good the last couple of weeks. Prior to yesterday, he had been pretty much a factor. But, losing Cal is a big deal. 90 catches a year ago, 1,300-plus yards, and he's good for 7 or 8 touchdowns a season. He already has 2 touchdowns this year. But he's dealing with some mental things that are going on in his life, and we wish him nothing but the best. Want things to work out for him and get back to where he needs to be. But got to move forward, Bobby. Guys go down. You don't have everybody. Got to go play. And this Falcon team knows the New Orleans isn't going to be feeling sorry for them when they show up in New Orleans.
Now, Dave, boy, it seems like Arthur Smith all of a sudden, from a negative aspect, I think they were confident going into the Carolina game. They were on a 2-game winning streak. So where's the mindset with the team right now at 3-4? Is it kind of like up and down roller coaster? And I look at Matt Ryan. I'd have to say, look, as an offense, they only managed, 213 total yards of offense. Maybe one of Matt Ryan's, one of his poorest games in his career, only 146 yards, a couple of interceptions. So looking at the Falcons, now this caught my attention. Even though they won 2 straight, they had squandered the opportunity to climb above 500 for the first time since 2017. And when you think of the Saints, they're the winningest team the last 4 seasons. And look where they're at now. Boy, so as of late, it's supposed to be a rivalry, but not so much between the Saints and Atlanta as of late.
Yeah, no question, Bobby. There's no question that New Orleans has dominated the series in recent years, and a good bit of that is just the inconsistency of Atlanta to be able to play on both sides of the ball. And this year they got a young offensive line that's still trying to kind of come together. They've had some moments, as you just mentioned. This last weekend was not one of those moments. Ryan was under siege the entire game from Carolina. They had a tough time letting him drop and throw the football. If he didn't get the ball out quickly, he was sitting on his rear end. I think they knocked him to the ground 10 times in this game. He tried to force the ball into coverage a couple of times, which cost him a couple of interceptions. Just didn't have the ball, Bob. They were only 3 of 10 on third down. This was a team in the last 3 weeks had been converting at almost 60% of the time on third down, but just 3 for 10 yesterday. And Carolina really controlled the football on the ground. Atlanta has had a little bit of a problem stopping the run. They had a little bit of a problem in Miami, got a W. This weekend, Carolina controlled the football on the ground, had a number of opportunities. I think they had 17 third down opportunities. They converted 10 of those. So they controlled the clock. And so Atlanta, first thing they got to fix, if you're going to try to find a way to stop New Orleans and beat New Orleans, is you got to stop the run, because we know Alvin Kamara is going to be able to run it. And certainly this is a copycat league, Bobby. You know, if a team can run it, they're going to try to run it on you, and especially with the quarterback situation going on in New Orleans. Best friend would be a running game.
Now, Dave, on the flip side, and you mentioned fixing the offensive line was a top priority this offseason for head coach Arthur Smith. But that goes hand in hand, I guess, like you talk about the Saints wanting to run the ball, and they've been outstanding stopping the run. That was one thing I think kind of beat Tampa Bay at their own game. You look 1, 2, or 3. You look at the Saints' rush defense. You look at the Bucs' rush defense. Tampa Bay was number 1, only giving up 67 yards a game. The Saints got 152. They were committed to the run with 32 attempts, right under 5 yards an average. But where right now is Atlanta as far as rushing the football to help out Matt Ryan? Because I think improving the rush attack also had to be a priority coming into the season.
Yeah, no question. They want to run the football. It's Arthur Smith's background. Obviously, you know what Tennessee does. Obviously, Derrick Henry isn't running the ball for us, but they've gotten some really good production out of Mike Davis, who they got from Carolina a year ago. And Cordero Patterson has been reborn here. You're going to love the way they use him, Bobby, when you see it and when you watch tape, because the two backs, they'll put 22 personnel on the field, 2 tight ends, 2 backs, and they can explode to 4 wides, or they can line up and try to match with the run game. The offensive line just hasn't come along as much as you'd like them to. Jalen Mayfield struggled some at left guard. He's the guy they drafted out of Michigan in the 3rd round. He's still kind of learning. They've got a young center in his first year as a starter. And then, of course, those 2 guys on the right side were draft picks a couple of years ago in the number 1 pick. So they've expended some resources to try to rebuild the offensive line. This hasn't come together the way you want it to yet. But they've had flashes of running the football. I think it's really been the ability, the versatility of the 2 backs that have caused the most problems for the opposition. Their ability to jump outside, play in the slot, run pass routes. Cordero Patterson, as you know, Bobby, was a wide receiver at Tennessee, and he's been transitioned to running back. He can play in the slot. He's a matchup problem. And, of course, Kyle Pitts, in his continued maturity, we've got to see him keep coming along, because without Calvin Ridley on the field, you really have a bunch of no-name guys at the wide receiver spot. Russell Gage becomes your number 1 receiver, who you drafted the 6th round about 4 years ago to come in and play special teams from LSU. So he becomes your best guy. So those guys are going to have to step up around Matt Ryan and make some plays. This will be a tall task. It's definitely a very big challenge for them to come to New Orleans and try to win.
David, one of the things on defense you can count on, and that's Grady Jarrett in the middle, and Debo Jones at linebacker. Man, those 2 guys, you watch Debo, and he's been a much better professional player than he was at LSU, basically a kind of a 1-year starter there. And all of a sudden, he's blossomed into one of the top linebackers in the game. And Jarrett, man, he is cat quick. And he comes off that snap, and he's in the backfield no time flat.
Mike, he's been a guy that's been phenomenal. 5th-round draft pick out of Clemson, really kind of an undersized guy, 6 feet, 300 pounds, really wasn't the preeminent defensive tackle size, but you're exactly right. He's got a tremendous first step. He gets double-teamed a ton, and there's not enough good players around him, Mike, that take that double team away. They don't have any great edge rushers. They don't have guys that can create problems on the perimeter where you have to dedicate some resources to get those guys blocked. So in turn, Grady Jarrett draws the ire of most offensive lines. He's going to get their attention. Deion Jones has been phenomenal. I think Deion Jones is one of the 2 or 3 best cover linebackers in the National Football League. Really has become the preeminent linebacker when you look at the league coming out of LSU and his ability to run. I mean, the guy had, 14, 15 tackles this weekend. Foye Oluokun has developed into a pretty good player, too. Their 2 inside linebackers are pretty good players.
Now, Dave, how is it in the ATL? Because I was there early, mid-'90s, and the Braves were rolling. You talk about Chipper Jones, Tom Glavine, John
That
Smoltz,
hasn't
Greg
changed,
Maddux,
Bobby.
and all. It hasn't changed. The
rolling
Braves
right
are
now.
still top priority, or what?
Yeah, it's a Braves city, Bobby. It's a Braves city. Certainly with the World Series going on and them trying to get a win here in Game 6 tomorrow night
Right.
against the Houston Astros. Been 26 years since they had the World Series. So you can imagine it's a fever pitch here for the Braves, and it's the same deal. It's a Braves city, no question.
Dave, thanks so much for joining us tonight, man. We really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you later in the week, most likely, or on game day. Thank
All right,
you.
Dave. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Sounds great. Great to be with you, Bob. Good to be with you, Mike. Thanks.
All right, thanks so much. David Archer, the color analyst for the Atlanta Falcons.
Mike, no, it's been like that for about 3 decades, really. The Braves are king. The Georgia Bulldogs in the state of Georgia and the Atlanta Braves. Ain't the Falcons, ain't the Hawks, or any of that. The Braves now, boy, they always relevant, especially in the 90s when they had, like I said, Tom Glavine, Chipper Jones, and all them Maddux, Smoltz.
Well, just think of that this year, because I think the Hawks are relevant. Georgia's playing for a national championship, so to speak, and the Braves got a shot.
No,
you got a shot.
The Georgia Bulldogs right now, look, you got to go back to Buck Bellew and Herschel Walker winning a national championship, and you look where the Braves are at. No, that's a priority. That's why in Atlanta, not everybody's from Georgia.
It's a commuter city.
Yes, unless the Falcons win, they're not supporting them, and the Falcons is ho-hum right now, so they're not even on the radar.
We'll be back to finish it up here on Second Guess on the Big 870.
Hi, I'm Jon Favreau, host of Crooked Media's new weekly series, Offline with Jon Favreau. If you feel like the internet is breaking our brains, but you still can't put the phone down, this show might help. Each week, I'll be talking to people like Monica Lewinsky, Megan Rapinoe, Peter Hamby, and DeRay McKesson about all the ways our extremely online existence is shaping politics, media, entertainment, sports, business, and more. New episodes of Offline with Jon Favreau drop every Sunday on the Pod Save America feed. Listen on Odyssey or wherever you get your podcasts.
Clear Eyes, Full Hearts is an episode-by-episode inside look at the hit TV show Friday Night Lights. I'm Stacey Oristano, a.k.a. Mindy Collette Riggins.
And I'm Derek Phillips, a.k.a. Billy Riggins.
Join us each week as we rewatch every episode of Friday Night Lights.
We'll answer fan questions.
And we'll chat with some of your favorite cast members.
Clear Eyes, Full Hearts is a podcast presentation of Cadence 13 in association with Black Barrel Media and Ritual Productions. Listen now for free on Odyssey or wherever you get your podcasts.
If you had some extra money right now, what would you spend it on? Would you treat yourself to something now? Or put it towards something special? Treat yourself with the savings you'll get from participating in the People's Gas Energy Efficiency Program. Our rebates help your dollars go further so you can spend more on the things you enjoy. Visit peoplesgasrebates.com/treat and learn how much you can save with the People's Gas Energy Efficiency Program. That's peoplesgasrebates.com/treat.